And we are back. It's been a couple of weeks since we dropped any type of video, but today we're back and we're talking our top 5 ranked MCU movies. There will be spoilers. Sorry for the delay, but now we're back. The summer season is ending. There wasn't really much to talk about. So we return with this video that I'm super excited for. As many of you know, Infinity War dropped this week for the home release. That's for Blu-ray and 4K UHD. And I thought this would be a good time to rank my top 5 MCU movies. There will be spoilers. So with that out of the way, let's get on to the good stuff.
Sorry, Tony. You know I wouldn't do this if I had any other choice. But he's my friend. So was I.
Captain America: Civil War. This movie was in my top 2 not 2 years ago, but that only goes to show how good the MCU has been these last 2 years. And this movie is a great adaptation of the Civil War storyline. It really brings Captain America and Tony Stark, aka Iron Man's morals to the forefront. I mean, Steve Rogers, he has had this arc from the beginning of the first Avenger to where he is now. He's willing to go against the grain. He's willing to break the law if it means that he's doing the right thing and maintaining his principles and his integrity. And Tony Stark is really motivated by guilt. This one machine he built to protect humanity was the one machine that almost wiped it out, and that's Ultron, and that's ultimately why we are here with the Sokovia Accords. Also, we get the cinematic debut of Black Panther, and I love the arc they gave him. The small scenes we get with him and his father really comes through with the love and respect they have for each other, and you really understand the motivations for T'Challa throughout this movie. And we can't close out without mentioning the best cameo, because essentially that's what it was, and that's Tom Holland as the MCU Spider-Man. What else can I say about this than wow, it was simply amazing.
Join S.H.I.E.L.D. to protect people.
Captain, to build a better world, sometimes means tearing the old one down. And that makes enemies.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Much like Civil War, this wasn't my top 2, but like I said before, Marvel has been so excellent in this MCU that this one drops down to 4. And sitting down to watch this movie, I could remember thinking to myself, this movie is really different than anything we've seen in the MCU. This is a spy thriller. This movie deals with real world events such as the Patriot Act and how much should the government should be allowed to spy on their citizens, and if they have the ability to destroy a citizen or kill a citizen, I should say, before they commit a crime, should they be able to? That's a real question to ponder. What's the moral thing? And it also really kicks into Captain America's morals. He's not willing to take it that far. If somebody hasn't committed a crime, it's not protection. It's more like fear, like he speaks of it. And the fact that the main antagonist of this film is his childhood friend Bucky, aka the Winter Soldier, now it goes for a really interesting way of telling this story, to have two childhood friends meet each other on the battlefield.
It's main event time.
Thor Ragnarok. When I first saw this trailer, I was very disappointed because it had a very comical tone to it, and Ragnarok is supposed to be a world-ending event, and I don't think that would blend well with the comedy. But after watching this movie, it is one of my absolute favorites, as you can tell from where it's being ranked. And it's everything from the comedy to the action to even the smaller moments between Thor and Odin and Loki, Thor and Loki. It all just really combines to a really fun, well-told story, and it also touches upon the horrors of colonization, and that's Hela. She feels that she has the ability to conquer and destroy worlds just because she can, and I think the best line that illustrates that is when she's in the throne room and breaks down the painting that's hiding the truth, and she says, happy to have it, but ashamed of how you got it. And I think that really speaks to that sort of theme. And I can't close out the clip without talking about Valkyrie. And The way they chose to portray this character as having survivor's guilt, having witnessed the death of all her sisters in battle, and her having lost herself at the bottom of a bottle and really fighting back after realizing that, hey, I may die, but I'm not going to let my life go to waste. And it may end, but at least it will go out like a Valkyrie warrior should on the battlefield with a sword in her hand.
I have seen gods fly. I've seen men build weapons that I couldn't even imagine. I've seen aliens drop from the sky.
Yeah.
But I have never seen anything like this. How much more are you hiding?
Hold up.
Black Panther. This movie picks up after the events of Civil War, and it's T'Challa going back home to Wakanda to become its next king. And he really has to find a way to rule Wakanda for his people without giving away his principles and his morals. And that's the dilemma that he faces, because he's asking for different advice from different people and he's getting different answers. So he really has to find a way to think about how he feels about everything and come to a conclusion for himself. And I also like that we get more scenes with him and T'Chaka. We get to experience that relationship between father and son that was pretty evident in the small scenes we saw of them in Civil War. And the moment where he has to realize that his father's not perfect and that he has made some mistakes, it's a heartbreaking scene, because to this point his father was everything. It was the person he looked up to the most, and to come close to with his father's demons was something really powerful in the film. Also, Eric Killmonger Stevens, he is the villain, but you really sympathize with him because you understand everything he's been through and everything he has lost. And yeah, he may be the villain, but I find myself having to really remember that throughout the film, because I felt that his pain was real and his justification worked as well as, I guess, any type of hero that you might see in any other movie.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal: to wipe out half the universe. If he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like that.
Here it is, the granddaddy of all comic book movies, Avengers: Infinity War. The Russo brothers really managed to bring all corners of the MCU together and make it all fit in a very cohesive way. And I think that works partly because of all the setup we got in all the other movies. We got the motivations, the character arcs, the emotional ties between different characters, but the main theme throughout this movie is sacrifice. How far are you willing to go to succeed? And it's not only the heroes, it's Thanos himself, as he says when young Gamora asks him after the snap, how much did it cost you? And he responds with everything. So at the end of the film, we see him crippled physically, possibly emotionally. We don't really know where he stands after he has completed his task and where he's going with next. The only thing we do know for sure is that Thanos will return. Okay guys, that's my top 5 ranked MCU movies. So it's time to hit the comment section and let me know, do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there a movie that I missed? Is there a movie that should have been that isn't? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you're notified every time we drop new videos. But for now, this is GBE saying